This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined in a very sunny York Hall with Carl Frampton. How's things, mate? How are we?
Good. Can't complain. All good. Life's good, man.
Absolutely, for sure. I suppose we're here for Denzel Bentley, but you know, it tops a stack card with some great fights on it. But he obviously makes his comeback against Danny Dignum tonight. I suppose looking forward to an important fight for Denzel Bentley.
Yeah, it is. Look, he was. I mean, he wasn't at his best in his last fight against Nathan Heaney. A fight that the vast majority of people expected him to win. Denzel was poor, but Heaney was good on the night. But Denzel need to be better tonight. Dignum's a good fighter. I think it's a good match, competitive match. But you gotta fancy Denzel.
When it comes to fighters like Denzel, who's coming off of a loss against a fighter who was a massive upset, you know, don't get me wrong, it was a massive upset. How tough would you say fights are, not only coming off losses, but especially fights where sort of, you know, it was a real tough defeat to take?
Well, I mean, I think he could be excused for taking an easier fight. I think that's, you know, coming off a defeat and getting straight in with someone like Dignum, who's, to be honest, probably a similar level to Heaney. Maybe a little bit below, but you know what I'm trying to say. He's not too far apart. He could have excused him for taking an easier fight, so you have to give him credit for that. But Dignum will be up for this as well. I suppose he's probably the underdog in the fight. Not many people expect him to win, but he'd like to be in that position. But Denzel, I think you have to give him credit for going into a fight like this, coming off the back of the defeat.
Absolutely, for sure. So we'll fly through a few topics. Next week, there's a big heavyweight fight going on between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. It's finally there. I suppose from a fan point of view, and I suppose from a sort of a work point of view, how excited are you to see the first undisputed champion, hopefully since 1999? Yeah,
look, unless we get a draw, which isn't out of the equation. I mean, you can make an argument for both guys winning the fight, but I mean, I can't really. The magnitude of this fight's massive, just for our sport, rather than just heavyweight boxing or whatever. For our sport, boxing as a whole, this is a massive fight. We will now definitively be able to say who the #1 heavyweight on the planet is, and we haven't been able to say that since Lennox Lewis in, I think, 1998, 1999, something like that. Massive fight. Make an argument for both guys, as I said, and I'm buzzing about it, like genuinely buzzing about this one.
I think in previous interviews before, you've sort of leaned towards Tyson Fury. I know it's easy, you know, people wouldn't blame you for flip-flopping between the two, but would you still lean towards Fury?
Yeah, still leaning towards Fury. I'm not saying it with any sort of air of confidence, because like I said, you can make an argument for Usyk winning the fight, but at this stage my mind hasn't really swayed too much. We're about a week out from the fight, and it may change again as we get closer, and I suppose once to see what the guys are like and what they're saying on fight week, that may change my mind, but just, yeah, edging Fury.
Fury posted a photo on Instagram during the week of, I suppose, of his shape for the fight, and a lot got made of it, sort of trim, leaner. And I suppose when people were saying when you're a big man fighting against a little man, size will be the most important thing. But I suppose if he is coming in leaner, do you think that there could be benefits against that for someone like Usyk?
Absolutely. Look, I think a lot of the weight that Tyson has is kind of, it's just weight. You know, some of it's fat, and it's pointless really sometimes. So Fury will still be the stronger man in the fight. He'll be the bigger man in the fight. But I think that the fact that he's trimmed down a bit tends, it kind of adds the argument that Fury's going to be aggressive. He's going to try and throw a lot, and I think it's the right thing to do. I think he needs to be aggressive against Usyk, get on the front foot from the start, and try and bully him. Usyk will be trying to move. He'll be trying to pot shot. His footwork is brilliant. But if I'm Team Fury, I'm saying be aggressive from the start and kind of just force the fight.
And when it does come to the size, could the smaller guy play a favour maybe for Usyk? Because Fury's admitted in the past when he's had fights like Steve Cunningham, he's found him hard to hit, very slippery. Usyk very much similar. So do you think maybe the size may play a factor for Usyk?
I mean, potentially it could. But I think, you know, people are maybe looking into the Steve Cunningham fight a little bit too much. It was a long time ago, and Fury's a much better fighter and a much different fighter than the Tyson Fury that fought Steve Cunningham. So I don't really take too much from that performance and Steve Cunningham dropping him. But we've seen Fury before. You know, he's a proud man. He's brave. He gets up off the deck if he has to, and he wins fights. But Usyk, I mean, Usyk's going to give him problems, no doubt about it. He's a world class fighter. Someone I respect and admire a hell of a lot. But I think Fury's. It's more than just Fury being too big, but I think his size will definitely have an impact on the fight.
For sure, Carl. I just want to say thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really good to catch up with you. I suppose, yeah. All the best and enjoy Saturday next week, mate. Top man.